What is up, guys? It is Kodi. Today we are going to be going over the new setup I've been running for the past couple days. I usually take more time before I post builds, but I've played this build for at least 2 days and I can already see a really big difference in performance in 1vxing. Keep in mind this is a 1vx build. It works very well while soloing because of the sets we are running. So let's first jump into the new 5-piece we are running on our body. We are running 5 Fury. This is a very easily obtainable set in ESO. You can obtain it through Words of the Worthy or by simply just buying it on the guild stores. A lot of people probably have Fury up for sale. It's really cheap. It's been in the game for quite a while, and make sure you go for impen. With this setup we are running 7 impen, so 7 out of 7 impen. You do have the choice to go 2 well fitted and 5 impen for more roll dodge sustain, but I've been doing 7 impen and I've been doing just fine on sustaining. Keep in mind, I've played the Black Rose build. Like, I've played with this setup with Black Rose instead of Fury, and basically it's 700 less weapon damage. So you can kind of see why I've been using Fury over Black Rose lately. So the first thing I want to show you is why a lot of people overestimate how good Black Rose is. So Black Rose is really good, keep in mind. I think it is definitely worth running it if you're running 6 or 7 heavy. So look at the Constitution passive. It gives 930 magic and stamina back every 4 seconds. And that's just with 5 standard pieces of heavy armor. Black Rose, on the other hand, let's put this on 1300. So you can see the difference is only by 400. And the weapon damage loss is just absurd. So we are running a 5 Viper, 3 pieces of jewelry, and we have the bracers and the guards. Keep in mind, Viper drops in everything, so it doesn't really matter what pieces you have. Just whatever pieces you have a Viper, just build around it with a Fury, whatever you can find. And then we have the Maelstrom Greatsword and the Maelstrom Bow. The Master Bow and Greatsword also work. We're mainly using this for the weapon damage we get, and we usually run damage poisons. Damage health poison 9s, the ones with double dots. These are the best in slot poisons in my opinion for 1vxing. The amount of pressure you can put with these things is just crazy. A lot of you guys may not like Viper because it is considered cheese and it's a proc set and it can carry damage, but you know, I really don't care. When you're getting XV1, people use this against you. People use anything they can, and I don't want to be at any disadvantage. When you're 1vxing, you want to be able to burst someone super quick, and with the combination of Fury giving us a total of 4100 weapon damage buffed up in this setup, and the proc set, it's just really hard not to kill people. So there's many alternatives to these sets as well. One, for people who do not have Maelstrom Greatsword or Maelstrom Bow, you can run this setup completely fine without these. So Fury comes in all armor, and it comes in jewelry, and it comes in weapons. Keep in mind the jewelry is healthy, which is not the ideal trait. You want to get robust, so that is why we're going to choose Viper or the alternatives for this build, which I will get into later in this video. So you could run, for instance, a Fury Greatsword and Fury Bow, or Fury Maul, Fury Axe, whatever. It doesn't matter what 2H you have, as long as it's sharpened. The damage is very minuscule, so it's just preference. But if you run 5 Fury with the 2-hand and the bow, you can get an extra endowment slot somewhere depending on what your pieces are. So you want to make sure your Viper is not your head or your shoulder. So that means you'll have 5 Vipers still, 5 Fury with the armor and the weapons, and then you'll have 1 endowment slot. And what you can do is you can slot 1 Velidreth, basically giving you what a Maelstrom Greatsword would give, but like 80 less. It'll be 129 instead of 189. Or you could run Kraghs. I'm not exactly sure how Kraghs and Maelstrom Greatsword match up, but I'm pretty sure Kraghs, the 2k penetration it gives you is literally the same as the weapon damage, but you won't get like bigger heals. You'll just get the same amount of damage. So that works as well. You can run a weapon enchantment glyph that gives increased weapon damage or poisons. It's pretty much preference, but that's another setup. If you don't like this Spriggans setup, you can go 5. If you don't like the Viper setup, you can go the 5 Spriggans setup. So Spriggans jewelry and Spriggans armor. So basically it will be like a straight glass cannon, but you won't be glass. You'll be a fucking tank cannon because you're going to be in fucking heavy armor with 4100 weapon damage and fucking 4k penetration. It will just be insane. Many of you guys are probably like, Kodi, why not 3 agility and to Slimecraw. Well, I've tested Slimecraw and agility versus Spriggans, and they're literally the exact same damage and exact same heals. So it's better to just go with Spriggans for those people who have higher resistances. Spriggans will work better on those higher resistant people, while like the Slimecraw and agility setup will work on like shields, for example. So they're both the same in damage when I tested it against like a medium and heavy armor user with and without buffs. So yeah, I've tested Automaton and hulking as well. For DK, I think hulking would fit the 5-piece better instead of Spriggans, but it's really just preference, guys. Spriggans does outperform in damage when you compare it to hulking and Automaton and all the other damage sets. So, and another variation is going Fury, Agility, and Velidreth. You could also do that as well if you have the Master Weapons. So yeah, those are some alternatives, guys. I really have been liking the setup. Let's jump into the stats real quick. We're running the Thief Stone. We're Vamp. We're Vamp because of the damage reduction you get when you drop below a certain amount of health. So we have 2.9k impen. Let's put on our food buff real quick. 25k max health, 37k max stam, and 3k weapon damage. I'm going to have a video right after this part showing you what the weapon damage is. A quick reminder, the way the Fury set works is basically it stacks up to 25 times. So 29 times 25 is 725 weapon damage total. So that's pretty much how much the 5th piece can give you. And basically if you're stacked up to the last tier, which is 725 weapon damage total, it lasts for 6 seconds. So if you're at that highest tier and you keep getting hit with crits at that highest tier, you're going to stay at that much weapon damage. So all the way buffed up, we get 4163. It's 4100 buffed. Keep in mind when you run an agility setup with Slimecraw or an agility setup with Velidreth, you can get up to 43 to 4500. Our weapon crit is also great with Viper since we get 2 weapon crit bonuses, so we're at 42.2%. Buffed up, we have 25k physical and spell resist, almost 26k on our bow bar, and then 20k on both on the 2-hand bar. Our regen is low. Keep in mind this is a stam store. Our sustain is through the Constitution passive, Dark Deal, and Tripods. Heavy attacks also come in handy for resource management. For our bars, we have Dizzying Swing, Ball of Lightning, Critical Rush, Reverse Slice, Rally, Dawnbreaker is Smiting. I will link a video right around now explaining why I use Ball of Lightning over Streak. There's pros and cons for both of them, offensively and defensively, but that will be in another video, so check that out when you can, guys. Back bar, we have Critical Surge, Dark Deal, Shuffle, Hurricane, Resolving Vigor, and Energy Overload bar. On my Overload bar, I literally just have Rearming Trap and Razer Caltrops, and the last 3 skills are pretty much whatever you want to use. I just have Shuffle, Hurricane, and Vigor just in case buffs do fall off on that Overload bar. I use Critical Surge over Poison Injection or any offensive skill because this skill is just way too powerful in Open World 1vx. Our class doesn't have Major Mending, so we kind of make it up with here. To be honest, it's obviously stronger than Major Mending in my opinion. The overall heals with Vigor and Crit Surge just kind of beat Major Mending. Dark Deal, obviously your best skill that you have on Stamina Sorcerer for sustaining. What you want to do is usually use Dark Deals whenever you can. Do not have a full bar of Magicka on heavy armor. You're basically wasting sustain if you let that happen because you can't get Magicka return if you have a full bar. Use your tripods for sustain, guys. You get Magicka back from tripods. You can turn that Magicka back into Stamina Dark Deal. Don't forget. Make sure you grab the passes you need: Unholy Knowledge, Power Stone, and all of the Stormcalling ones. Sam Sork, you don't really need to have a lot of skill points, which is a good thing. 2-hand and bow passes. Most of these bow passes you don't even need. For example, you don't need Ranger and you don't need Hawkeye. You should grab Long Shots, Accuracy, and AC Retreat though. Grab the medium armor passes. Remember, we're running 2 medium with the Viper setup, so make sure to grab the ones that apply. Grab all the heavy armor passes, Vamp passives, Supernatural Recovery, Undeath, Unnatural Resistance, all that good stuff. I'm just going over the passes, guys, because there may be some passes that you might not be grabbing that it can help. Like, for instance, Rearming Traps on our Overload bar. This reduces a fighter guild's abilities by 20%, which some of you may not know. Make sure to grab these ones, they're important. Make sure to grab Undaunted as well. The Alliance War and support skills, racials obviously, and make sure you have medicinal use. It doesn't really matter on this character, but it's always a great passive to grab. Make sure you have 64 points in a stamina, and you're running the Thief Stone. And all stamina glyphs in pen or 2 well-fitted 5 in pen, robust, weapon damage, enchanted. Okay, so now let's jump into the champion points. This has may have been altered since the Black Rose build, but it's pretty much the same thing. We have 100 in a Warlord and 87 in Tumbling. This is my ideal CP setup. I barely have attack. Most of my sustain is from dark dealing, and roll dodging uses a lot of my stam, and it's really important to roll dodge, so that's why I have that many points in there. Really helps with the stam management. We have 10% into bless to help with our vigors. We have 100 into mighty and 77 precise strikes. I've messed around with piercing and mixing all different types of points, and honestly this is the best setup you can go for maximum heals and maximum damage. 57 into resistant, giving us a lot of impen, and keep in mind I do put more points into hardy. It's obviously a better choice to do that. The stamina is what hits really hard in this game, and stamina is pretty much what runs open world PvP in terms of like hard hitting builds. So I do put a little bit more points into hardy. Make sure you have 120 points in this to get the Unchained passive though. It's really important after you CC break to use stamina causing skills that cost a lot of stamina. And then we have 10 into quick recovery to also help our vigors and crit surge. So guys, that is pretty much the build. I hope you enjoyed it. I really like this setup. Really powerful, tanky, survivable, sustainable, and a crap load of damage. It's been Kodi PvP. Check out my stream when you get in, guys. I will put that in the description below. And thank you guys so much for the support. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.